Good morning, everybody. It is what is it? It's the 25th of June, middle of the week, Wednesday morning, and welcome to Daybreak. All right, welcome along. Now, just a reminder that if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like this video, like Family First's channel. And if you want, click on the alert button or notifications, and then we can update you. It'll ting when we come live. If you're watching on Facebook, welcome to you as well, and LinkedIn and X. We are all over the place. Alrighty, let's get into the stories. Look, I do want to just cover this particular story. So Australia has voted. It was both sides of the political divide have voted to ban social media for under 16s, and it comes into effect on December 10th this year. Now, the e-safety commissioner has been given the task of figuring out how to implement the ban. And look, I know there's arguments for and there's arguments against. Just basically what she has done is she has got a UK firm to test age verification from 53 different vendors. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can find the technology. But the problem is that it was a 2-page preliminary report that has just been released. So it doesn't really say much. And apparently it's talking about guessing your age from your facial features and your movements, which is an interesting one to me. But here's the interesting thing for many people who are concerned about privacy aspects and government intervention. The Australia bill says it explicitly prohibits the use the use of a government ID, such as a passport or driver's license, due to privacy concerns. So interesting, Australia trying to get around that whole concern around government intervention, privacy concerns from big overreach by government. So they're looking to more the corporate world, the technological world, to find a solution for age verification. And apparently the trial's project director said that solutions are technically feasible and can support the rights of children. And this is an interesting thing. It is about the protection of children, the rights of children to be protected from the type of content that is being targeted at them. Interestingly, NetSafe in New Zealand, they don't like this whole ban thing. They say social media, for all its flaws, is where young people express themselves. It's where a 15-year-old queer kid in a rural town finds community, where Māori or Pacifica teens stay connected to diaspora. I don't know how they coped before social media. Apparently, we just couldn't cope when we were younger. But anyway, that's the excuse. But here's the interesting thing in the article. It actually says, and my argument has always been, that we are not holding the social media companies to account. They have been in the Wild West. They have got away with blue murder. They have targeted our children. They have set up algorithms which deliberately try to addict kids. And nobody has called on accountability from them. And it's time we did. And that's what I like about this whole discussion. And it's interesting because Apple has been bolstering its protection for kids. Because it needs a phone and parental consent for download or purchase of apps. So there's the argument for actually getting the age verification when you're downloading the app in the first place. At its 2025 Worldwide Developers Conference, they previewed several new features, which are all due later this year. And apparently it's around blurring nudity. So it can pick up nudity and it can blur it. There's also a feature will be on default with an option for parents to turn it off. Another new safeguard will be to send requests to their parents when kids want to communicate with new phone numbers. So parents involved in the process. Another one is declared age range, which will let child share their age with an app without giving away their exact birth date. Okay. And apps, by the end of the year, apps are going to have 3 age ratings, 13 plus, 16 plus, and 18 plus. This should give parents an easier handle on whether to approve and ask to download or ask to buy request. So look, these are all things that show actually the social media providers and technology can provide the solutions if we put pressure on them. NetSafe said, look, technology is only one part of the solution. We need families, broader societal efforts to address online and offline harms. Look, totally agree with that. But the problem is that parents are trying to do it on their own at the moment, and they need the backup of the law and policies and protection from social media companies who are exploiting our kids. So we'll watch that one with interest. Big story this morning is that, well, blow me down. You drop discipline in schools and you put a whole lot of red tape around teachers being able to break up fights. You know, if a teacher breaks up a fight, the last I checked was that they have to fill in anywhere from 3 to 5 forms because of the fact that they may have physically handled a child in breaking up a fight, which is probably why teachers don't get involved. But anyway, school weapon incidences, there's been a major spike. More than 500 students were stood down just last year. It's been an 80% increase since 2018. Am I surprised? No, of course not. We have lost discipline in the school, but we've lost discipline in the home as well. My argument has always been that the anti-smacking law didn't just ban smacking, it actually undermined parents, and it told kids that they could tell parents, you not only can't you touch me, but you can't tell me what to do. And that's why we've got a problem with truancy as well. Well, no surprise. So this doesn't surprise me, sadly. Here we go. Who watches Neighbours? Yeah. No, can't see anybody. But some people do. And they've apparently they've got a new plot line. And one of the guys is dipping back into the dating pool following the loss of his husband. Okay, there's a myth there. No such thing as his husband. And he reconnects with 2 ex-partners, sparking an unconventional love triangle. So there we are. If you're into thruples, gay thruples, that family-friendly program at, 5:30? Neighbours. There we are. But remember, there is no slippery slope. Latest polling on what we're concerned about has come out from Ipsos, and Simon and I will talk about this more on Political Playback tomorrow night. Let me just enlarge that. This is what we're worried about. We're most worried about inflation, cost of living, healthcare, back to the economy, crime and law and order, housing are the key things. Interestingly, when you go right down, race relations and racism, only 6%. Issues facing Māori, 4%. There we are, we must have solved all of that issue. Taxation, 6%. I'm concerned about taxation, way too high. But it's interesting, I still think economy and health are the big issues. Here's the worrying thing for the National Party, for the government at the moment, is that when they asked which party is better at solving these problems, there's a lot of red Labour. That's the top 5 issues, only 2 national, but when you go even further down the list, there's even more red. Either voters have an incredibly bad memory of how bad it was under Labour, or National are doing really badly. So we'll discuss this more on Political Playback tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. Me and Simon will do that. I was interested, here's a good news story. There's a student at now St Hilda's Collegiate and has developed an app called Donate Mate. And it's been developed through the Young Enterprise Scheme, and it basically reminds parents that, yes, you can get a third back, the donation rebate on school donations. So not school fees, but school donations. And that can form part of the school fees. So you look at the receipt and you figure out, okay, what part of this is donation, and you can claim a third back. And a lot of parents don't know that. So well done to Olivia from St Hilda's Collegiate, who has come up with that very handy ad. Now, lots of coverage of Iran, Israel. Apparently there is a ceasefire. From the more responsible media on this particular one, and it's been interesting watching the Trump derangement syndrome over the last couple of days. They're really struggling to give credit to Trump for what's happening in the Middle East. Trump criticised both Iran and Israel overnight because both of them look like we're breaking the ceasefire. But stuff got... I'm just interested in the words that the media use. And so this one is Trump rages. Trump rages, but probably the worst I saw this morning was in the New Zealand Herald, where they said fragile ceasefire after Trump outburst. Now, fortunately, there's new management at the New Zealand Herald, and hopefully they'll get on top of this type of emotive language. Outburst. Trump outburst. No, Trump is just calling both parties to account. Interestingly, yesterday, the Greens were very upset that Iran had been bombed and that the nuclear weapons had been basically destroyed. And Chris Hipkins as well. I actually tweeted this. Anybody want to second my nomination for Marama Davidson and Chloe Schwarbrick to go to Iran to discuss LGBTQIA++ issues and other issues of common interest? You can see there that it's had lots of views and lots of likes. The other funny thing I just got to say about the whole Iran thing is I've watched. So Israel and the US figured out right to the pinprick where the nuclear bomb site was, and they were able to go down deep into the earth and destroy the site where all the nuclear weapons were. But apparently, according to the media, in the middle of the night, when the US and Israel weren't watching because they were having a beer together or something, I don't know, the Iranians sneaked it all out in a whole lot of vehicles, which, by the way, we have surveillance of these vehicles outside the Iranian nuclear site. But anyway, apparently we didn't see it being moved, or we don't know where it went, because they turned off the TV cameras for a period of time. I just watched some of the media coverage, and I do chuckle to myself, and I hope you're enjoying the media coverage of it all as well. Another interesting one, RFK Jr. in the United States wants to ban advertisements for pharmaceuticals. Now, I didn't know this, and I think I'm right on this, but it's only the US and New Zealand that allows pharmaceutical companies to advertise. And the problem is that we then start self-diagnosing, and we turn up to our medical professional and we tell them the prescription we want because we watch the advertisement and we believe the hype. Now, what JFK is doing is proposing is not a ban, but he wants to make it more expensive and take away some of the tax deductibility. $5 billion is spent in 1 year on ads in the US, and they say direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising must prioritise accuracy, patient safety, and the public interest, not profit margins. It's actually something I'd like to see in New Zealand as well, ban pharmaceutical ads. And of course, they're worried that it'll send the media to their knees, cripple them, because that's where a huge amount of money comes from, like those COVID vaccines and all those flu things that they reckon are the best thing ever. Is anybody on Blue Sky? Blue Sky is the alternative to Twitter. So Twitter was bought by Musk, and the left hate Musk, so they all packed their toys, went off Twitter, and they've gone to this thing called Blue Sky. And Blue Sky was set up by the guy who originally set up Twitter. Now, it's about the fifth of the audience. It's only lefties who are just raging against everything, always very angry. And, they want it because it's more inclusive and more accepting of others. The problem is that J.D. Vance came onto Blue Sky, and the first thing he did on his very first post was he talked about the great decision from the Supreme Court last week about banning puberty blockers for gender-confused kids. He was then, apparently, he became the most blocked user on Blue Sky because apparently leftists are only interested in inclusivity and diversity if they agree with you. And so the leftists have proved just how inclusive they are by all blocking J.D. Vance on Blue Sky. I am on Blue Sky, but I really am only on it just to wind up the left. Here's an interesting one. Rio de Janeiro is requiring all public hospitals and clinics run by the government to display anti-abortion signs bearing messages such as, "Did you know that the unborn child is discarded as hospital waste?" It's a funny sign to have. I mean, why don't they just say, "Did you know that the unborn child shouldn't be killed in the womb?" But Reproductive Rights Act, and remember, this is from The Guardian, rabid left Guardian. Reproductive right activists view the act as the latest example of a growing trend across Brazil to further restrict access to abortion. Yes, they're very worried about that. And apparently Brazil's main hospital in Sao Paulo has stopped offering abortions after a decision by the city's mayor. And the Federal Medical Council, the Medical Council of Brazil, banned doctors from using or basically doing late-term abortions after 22 weeks. Now, The Guardian says it was the safest method recommended by the World Health Organization. Well, as soon as you mention WHO, World Health Organization, immediately red flag. And the safest method of a late-term abortion is, of course, an absolute oxymoron. Now, sorry, I got a bit of a... there we go. Now, I did see this funny story, and I might just leave you with this one. This is about SAFE, which is a group against animal exploitation. And apparently, they're calling for an investigation because into the use of dairy cows in sexually explicit content. Yes, cows being used in sexually explicit content posted on social media and adult entertainment subscription site OnlyFans. So in other words, the grubby porn site OnlyFans. Now, SAFE isn't concerned about sexual exploitation or sexual violence from OnlyFans or, inappropriate material or kids accessing it. No, they're worried about cows being included. Apparently, now this is the classic, the organisation said it was deeply concerning to see the mother cows who are already being exploited for their reproductive systems. Yes, mother cows are being already exploited for their reproductive systems, being further victimised. Now, apparently, and be careful, this is what is shown, apparently, there are women in bikinis performing routine farm tasks such as milking cows and sweeping the milking shed. Oh my gosh, tradwives. Shocking, eh? Milking cows and sweeping the milking shed. Now, they did say that there was one video where 3 women are apparently drinking milk directly from the udder. Now, if you're stupid enough to do that, and I did Google this, and apparently it's very dangerous because of the bugs that you can get, etc., well, go you. But anyway, SAFE are very concerned that cows have a woman in bikini standing next to them, milking them or sweeping the milking shed. So anyway, there's your funny story. Now, just one other thing that I meant to talk about, lots of discussion around ADHD. And apparently we're making the prescription of Ritalin, for example, more easier. I will come back to this issue. There was, and I've been meaning to talk about this because there's a very good piece, surprisingly, in the New York Times Weekender, where they discuss this question, quite a deep dive into the issue, and they asked the question, have we been thinking all about ADHD all wrong? And with diagnoses at a record high, some experts have begun to question our assumption about the condition and how to treat it. So I will come back to that one. Now, McBlog yesterday absolutely took off. The last I checked, it was at about 10,000 views, maybe more now. And it's where I've looked at that interview that David Seymour did with John Campbell from One News. But David Seymour bought his own camera and he videoed what was going on. And it's a fascinating one. Well worth checking out. Lots of people have watched it, as I said. Now, the other thing is, just a reminder that we're here every morning at 7:30. I'm here on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and Simon got drew the longest straw, and he only has to do Tuesday and Thursday, but that's because he's far more intelligent and he talks far more deeply. Now, just a reminder, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you want those notifications so you know when we go live, then simply click on the notification button. Entity Kingdom says regarding the reports on Trump and what did they say? They said outburst. Yes, this is why no one takes anything the New Zealand Herald says seriously if they watch or read it all. Hopefully the new management at the New Zealand Herald will make a change. Dee Dee says there's plenty of alternative media out there as well. And just from Facebook, morning Takasi. Rosie says, what about broodmares, female horses being used for breeding? Yes, exploiting them. And lots of people seconding my tweet that I sent out regarding Marama and Chloe about whether we should send them to Iran to discuss areas of common interest, including LGBTQIA plus issues in Iran. I'm sure they'll be well received. All right, we are out of time, and I need to go. So you have a great day. Simon will be here tomorrow morning, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 5 o'clock for Political Playback. Oh, I've got a very special McBlog coming up as well. I'll be releasing that tomorrow. Watch out for it. Very special McBlog. There we are. There's your teaser for today. Okay, have a great day.